What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at a pretty haunting tale. Today we're taking a look at Haunt, which is a movie on Netflix, and definitely took me by surprise. I clicked on it thinking that it would be a shitty, sort of low-budget horror movie, and it kinda was, but it did take my expectations and absolutely fucking blew them away. It smashed my expectations, and I did not think this would be as good as it was. So let's get into that. Let's take a little bit of a deep dive into that. So, yeah, Haunt is a movie on Netflix, which you can go check out for yourself. It is 1 hour and 43 minutes long if you want to go watch it. And I do think you should watch it for yourself and make your own opinions on this, but this is my thoughts and opinions on this movie. You can watch it on Yubu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and also YouTube. It is a horror crime and came out in 2019. It is a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon. A group of friends discover a haunted house on a Halloween and decide to explore it. However, things do not go as per plan as the night turns deadly. So this movie has a very similar premise to some of the escape room movies which I've previously watched, and I do like the escape room movies. I think they're really creative and really exciting, and sort of there's always a way out of them. Very similar to Saw, I always like trying to work out how to get out of these escape rooms and what to do to get out with your life. I think it's very exciting, and yeah, let's go through the real story. So, this girl is at a party with her friends. She didn't really want to go. She didn't really enjoy Halloween, and one of her friends took her mum's ring, and they go to the party. They want to go to a sort of haunted house to end the night after being at this party, and they're being followed by who they think is the main girl's ex. And when they get to this haunted house, they have to put their phones in a lockbox, and they head in. Everything seems normal, everything seems fine. It seems really cheap, really basic, really pathetic, with there being fake spiders, like really crappy skeletons, really crappy jump scares, with a skeleton that jumps out from the wall. And they keep going. They see someone die, but they just think it's really good acting. They then decide to split up and take the safe and not safe way, and the not safe way actually gets one of them killed because they fall through a trap door and get put on display and murdered in front of the rest of the group. One of the girls gets her arm sliced open due to her sticking it through a hole, and then they all meet up again, and they see their friend die. One of them goes forward, gets the ice cream ghost to help them, and the lockpick ends up leaving to go get the phones while the ice cream guy follows. The ice cream guy then blocks off the exit that he took and ends up having the main boy sort of crawl through the tunnel. The three girls that are left behind get attacked by the devil mask guy, and one of them manages to escape. The other two run through the tunnel, leaving one to get impaled by a fork, the other one to get lost in the maze, and the other guy to sort of fall and get knocked out. He then wakes up, finds the phone, sends a notification to the main boyfriend to, come and help, but guess what? The masked devil is not the boyfriend that we all thought it was. It is the big twist of the movie. It is some random fucking dudes who are like cult worshippers who think you have to earn your face by killing people. And the devil mask dude has devil horns and has black eyes and a snake tongue. The zombie guy has a zombie face. The clown dude has a clown face, and the ice cream guy has a weird ghost looking face. They're all tattoo artists, and they all have the same similar faces to the masks that they have on, and they try to kill the characters. There is currently 3 of them left because the master lockpick gets a hammer through the face, and then his face starts getting peeled off and ripped off, which is a plot point which I wish they explored more, because they all say that they need to earn their face, and let's see what's hiding under the face. So they all have a sick and twisted mindset where they trying to rip the face off these guys, but I don't know what they're going to use the faces for. That never gets explained or explored, which I kind of feel like is a little bit of a letdown and should have been explored a little bit more to sort of understand the sort of reason why these villains are going in. We do have the main girl running through the rest of the tunnel, getting her foot impaled by a nail, which is 100% she's getting tetanus for that shit. She ends up crawling around on the floor, puts her hands in this sticky shit, which ends up ripping the skin off her hands. She keeps crawling, she keeps going, and she survives getting knives dropped on her, just because it just misses her. And she ends up in a room, which is an escape room. She tries to find a way out, and she hides under the bed, and then we get a little bit of a traumatic past, a little bit of backstory for her, where she is a kid and her father is very abusive towards her mother, and she's hiding under the bed. That was a little bit explained towards the start of the story, because she lives in a haunted house, as she explains it, and she hates the house, and she's then, reliving that moment where she's hiding under the bed. She gets a moment of strength and stabs the dude in the eye, and she continues to crawl. She gets him shot by a shotgun. She takes the shotgun, shoots another one, gets out of that room with the help of the other guy who kills the ghost dude and frees her from the corner she trapped herself in. They kill the zombie guy with a chainsaw by chopping his arm off. They see the vampire dude, who is just a guy which they hired and didn't really want to take part in it. They just kind of made him do it. And then he gets shot by the witch. They then kill the witch, they escape, and then it leaves the clown as the only one who comes to hunt them down. They wake up in hospital, and they go home and set traps for the clown, where he sort of stands on a nail. He gets stuck to the ground with the same sort of goo, the same sort of sticky stuff, and then he gets shotgunned straight to the fucking face, and that's how the movie ends. I'm gonna be honest, I thought the movie premise was pretty good. I didn't expect it to be as bloodthirsty, as gory, as good as it was. I did feel like they did take a pretty long time to set up these scares, because towards the start of the movie, when they first entered the haunting house, for like a good, what felt like half an hour of them doing stuff, felt like shit that would get them killed, but never actually did. It felt like it was building suspense for it to just go nowhere, because it was like, oh, they're fine, oh, they're fine, and then it hit you when you least expected it, with them being murdered and killed. I feel like all this suspense and sort of stuff at the start was prolonged too much, where it sort of felt like when they actually got killed wasn't as much as a shock, or wasn't as much as a big moment, because it kind of felt like, oh, it's just another sort of, oh, nothing's going to happen here situation. It's kind of like a red herring, a little twist where they're still alive. And then when they started dying quick. Their numbers dwindled quick. First girl got her arm sliced open, then someone got impaled, then another person got impaled, then someone got their face ripped off, and it was like, their group went from 6 to 2 in the matter of seconds. 6 to 2 in seconds. And it kind of felt like these characters were the main characters, because we got their backstories, we got why they were here, and it did kind of feel like they were specifically targeted, because it did follow her traumatic past, but then it also didn't, because they had no idea who these guys were. They were just here to earn their face, but they didn't know why we didn't know why they were earning their face. We didn't know why they were doing this. They had no motivation behind it, so it kind of just felt like mindless murder, which I didn't really like. I would have liked to learn more about their motivation and why they were killing these kids, why they wanted to do this, and what about their motivation made them choose these kids, and why they made them have a similar horror experience to their past. And it kind of felt like the traumatic past was just shoved in here for no reason, because we had her overcome it within seconds. It only mattered once. It mattered when she cared about the ring, and that's why she cared about the ring, and when she was hiding under the bed, and to give her the strength to stab the guy in the eye. Which, pretty much, you would stab the guy in the eye anyway. Like, even if he was in that situation, you didn't need that traumatic past to give you the strength to do that. It caused a little bit more tension in the scene, but that's all it really did. And the movie sort of threw things at you, which would look like that shit mattered, but then didn't. Because it made her, like, crawl through this crap and have the skin off her hands be taken off, but then that not matter because she uses a shotgun and she continues to throw shit around and use her hands quite a lot. You'd have expected it to sort of impede her sort of search and sort of stop her using her hands as much, because of her skin being removed from her hands. I know adrenaline sort of takes away from the pain, but it directly showed us her hands being ripped apart and skin being removed and having big holes in her hand. So I would have expected them to utilize that and sort of use that for something. And then they also had her step on a nail, which only really affected her when she was crawling through the rest of that scene. After that scene, she was walking around pretty fine and continuing to move around and run away through the field to get away from the clown. Like, it didn't feel like the stuff that was happening to them really affected them in any way, shape, or form. And you can put it up to adrenaline, but I feel like that's a very uncreative solution to the problem. There was very creative rooms and very creative scares, and that's where I feel like most of their creativity was used, because the story kind of felt like nothing mattered. They weren't chosen for any reason. It just kind of felt like it just happened to happen to them. And that kind of added to the scare, because it kind of could happen to you, but it also kind of couldn't. And I quite liked the movie. It did give me quite a few scares and some twists which I wasn't really expecting, with the guys behind the mask to actually have the face of the mask. I thought that was really cool and creative. But the ending where she killed the last guy, I don't think she really thought out, because now she has a dead body on her hands, and what is she realistically going to do with the dead body? I don't know. This movie, in my opinion, is a solid sort of 5 out of 10. It's like a mid-movie, because it has some good elements, and then actually thinking about it, it has some not so good elements. I thought it was good when I was watching it, but looking back on it and talking about it, I can sort of see it not being as good as what it is. So I definitely feel like it fits as a mid-movie. It's a movie that you shouldn't really think too much about to enjoy.